Hello and welcome to the Unnamed Automotive Podcast. My name is Sami Assad, and with me, as always, is my good friend and fellow automotive journalist, Benjamin Hunting. Say hi to the people, Ben.
Greetings, human listeners.
Greetings to everyone. If this is the first time you're listening to our podcast, thank you for trying something new. I will reiterate, Ben and I are a pair of automotive journalists, but more than that, we're very good friends. Isn't that true, Ben?
So, Sami, it's been very, very cold in my neck of the woods over the past week. I woke up on Monday morning and I had to go outside and it was minus 19.5 degrees Celsius, which I think for our American listeners, let me find out what that is. Minus 3.1 Fahrenheit, which sounds a lot less impressive, but it is.
No, I think I liked it the other way.
In any case.
Yeah, what happened?
I pick up my Pathfinder, which has been sitting in a fleet lot for 2 weeks because of the Christmas holidays. And I clean it off, starts up right away, which is all I can really ask of a 23-year-old vehicle. And I'm driving home. Things are mostly okay until I try to use the windshield washer fluid. It does not work. Which is
something that most people use in the wintertime because you get so much gunk all over your windshield.
Yeah. But I was lucky in the sense that on Monday it was too cold for there to be gunk. You know, when it's too cold and like even when there's salt on the road, you can't make slush. Like it's just, it just kind of sits there in a layer. So I get home, I figure, all right, maybe it's frozen or something. Mm-hmm. It's very, very cold. And normally fluid is good to minus 20 or even minus 40. The stuff I had just bought to replace it earlier that month was good to minus 45. But when you're driving, depending on where the reservoir is for the vehicle, it can be exposed to a lot of wind. So in the Pathfinder, it's at the front and it's just below the fog light. Theoretically, a lot of air at highway speeds can come up under there and it could enhance the chilling effect. And the other thing I learned is that if you let things sit for a really long time, specifically things that have alcohol in them, that alcohol can evaporate out of the liquid. So you end up just with water. But the first thing I did was I contacted the person I bought the truck from. And I was like, hey, did you maybe put summer formulation in? Because I didn't check before the cold weather came. And his reply was, can you even buy summer formulation anymore? Like, I'm pretty sure whatever I put in was good to minus 20. And he told me that when he bought the truck himself, the original owner had water in it. Like,
oh my God.
Yeah, that's like riding. How cheap do you have to be to ride the edge of the knife blade where you're just putting in water instead of fluid, which costs, I think I paid $2.50 a gallon for my washing fluid. Anyway, he tells me he thinks that it was good to minus 20. And the next day it warmed up to like minus 10. It still wasn't working. So I'm starting to think that maybe I have a more serious problem, right? Maybe because when I pull the lever, I don't hear a sound. And when I twist the tube on the lever for the rear, I don't hear a sound. Yeah. So I'm like, did a fuse go out? Okay. Is it the same fuse for both pumps? The pumps are side by side, blah, blah, blah. I try to pour in some of my old fluid, my colder fluid, the stuff that's good to minus 45 to see if it would maybe melt what's in there a little bit. I let it sit, nothing really happens. Then it gets up to minus 3, which is right around freezing. It's still not working. And I'm starting to be a little irritated because I can't go inside. Like, you have to take the wheel off. You have to remove the fender flap. I'm not doing that when it's cold outside. You know what I mean? So in my mind, I'm starting to think, all right, the rest of the winter, I'm not going to have wiper fluid. Which is normally fine for this vehicle because it just goes from one fleet spot to another most of the time.
Yeah, it's basically one lot to the other for a week at a time. And you go like 50 miles at most?
Yeah, like right now I have it for 2 weeks, which is unusual because of some travel that I'm doing.
Oh yeah.
But I'm mentally prepared for that. And then yesterday it's above zero, just a little bit. I get in the truck, I pull the fluid thing, it squirts everywhere. Everything is squirting everywhere, is always squirting all the time. And I'm like, I guess it was frozen.
I don't want to hear how everything is squirting. Just in the car, of course.
Sure. And I have to assume that it was frozen. I have to assume that the liquid, this is a first for me. I've never had liquid freeze like that in a car. And I've never had liquid that was supposedly good for cold temperatures freeze. So that's how long it hadn't been used. So now I need to make sure that I'm regularly using it. That's the bottom line. I drained it. And by drained it, I drove to my gym while holding the lever. just spraying it all over everything, squirting it.
Can you imagine anybody walking on the sidewalk just getting splashback from this thing?
So when I was a young man, and I was somewhat antisocial, I had a pickup truck.
Only then? Only when you were a young man?
I had this F-150 that had a sprayer for the washer fluid that would shoot 3 feet over and 2 feet back from the windshield.
Right.
So if you were standing by the box of this single cab truck, you would get wet. And
you're a joker. You're so funny.
A friend of mine worked for Clairol when we were teenagers. He was a biochemist, and one summer he worked as a test engineer. And what that meant was he would go to the Clairol plant, which is actually near where I live now. And they would make batches of whatever cosmetics were needed to be tested, and they would test them. But the thing is, you only need half the batch. Half the batch is a control, I guess, and the other half is in the test. And so whatever was left over, people who worked at the facility could bring home. So he was always bringing me like essentially white label cosmetics. So I would get like, he would make special flavors and scents because he could do that. And I would have like bubble bath, like, but the real reason I'm bringing this up is because at the time, and I don't think this is still a thing in cosmetics, but there was this product called Body Mist. Have you ever heard of that?
Okay.
It's kind of like perfume, but not really. I guess you spray it
like
and
lighter
you walk
perfume,
into
right?
Yeah, you walk into it. So he would bring me gallon bottles of body mist. I mean, gallons. And he had this special scent called Celebrate. That was his favorite. He had made it. That's what he named it. It's basically just alcohol and fragrance. So one night we were in the city, and we filled the reservoir of the washer fluid in my pickup truck with Celebrate body mist. And we drove down the sidewalk of the clubbing district of Montreal. And it's a one-way street, so we could be on the left. And we would wait till there was like a long line for a club. And we would just hit the switch and douse the line with this fragrance. Because
you're a joker. My God, way it works,
it doesn't get you wet, but because it instantly evaporates, but you stink. You are surrounded in this cloud of like celebratory perfume. And what made it fun was you would like waft this perfume over top of the crowd. And then I would just stop and you watch in the mirror, and all of a sudden everyone is looking everywhere, trying to figure out where this joyful smell has come from.
Sure.
But the problem with the strategy is it also sprays down the side of the pickup. Yeah. So for like 3 weeks afterwards, my truck just smelled like I don't even know, like a hair salon, I guess, just like a really aggressive, clean smell. Anyway, that's my very long story about washer fluid tying in a pad. I'm not recommending anybody do this. Like, I mean, I guess it's harmless fun, because unless you're allergic to alcohol, you're probably not going to be harmed by this cloud of perfume. But it was a fun thing to do. I remember moving out of that house years later and finding like 8 gallons of body mist and not knowing what to do with it. So I think I just left it for the next occupants.
So, but either way, though, your Pathfinder is now spraying the way it needs to spray. We're gonna see.
I mean, we'll see. We'll see how long it lasts. What if it's not that it was frozen? What if the cold was actually affecting the circuit? I don't know. You know, very cold. Well, it's gonna be 7 degrees above zero tomorrow. That's how much of a temperature swing we've had. 30 degree temperature swing.
Everything has melted over here. It's crazy. And it was such warm weather today. It caught me off guard. And the sun was out. It was weird. It's like I haven't seen like beautiful warm sun in so long.
Yeah, I'm not used to the sun. I'm not prepared to see it.
Ben, this week we've got some pretty cool cars to talk about. Some things that we haven't spoken about before or in any, prolonged depth or enthusiasm. Specifically, that's the EV that I'm test driving this week, which is the 2026 Toyota BZ. BZ.
Wait, Sami.
Yes?
This BZ, is it possibly related to the Busy Forks?
The Busy Forks, or the BZ4X, which was Toyota's first attempt at a mainstream full-time EV, has been replaced by the BZ entirely.
That's good because from what I remember, the Busy Forks was completely non-competitive. Is that perhaps not accurate enough in describing that vehicle?
I mean, it had a really poor amount of range, power, and charging speeds.
Super plain inside. It didn't have a gauge cluster, from what I remember.
I think it had a. Are you for real? I'm going to take a double check. What a gauge cluster?
But it was either it had one of those pop-up HUDs or it had a gauge cluster that was really, really far towards the windshield.
Yeah, it was really far.
It's super small.
Yes. No, this one for no does reason, not have. Right? I mean, it seems like I have the one I'm driving has a very similar interior. All sorts of weird stuff. But in general, though, the BZ has made some significant changes in an attempt to become more competitive. However, I don't think it's gone far enough, which is crazy considering they have increased horsepower in some scenarios by 50%. They have increased the size of battery by like 10 kilowatt hours. 10 kilowatt hours. They have increased the speed of DC fast charging significantly. It's insane to me that they could have done they have put so much effort in improving it and yet still made a, how do you even say this? Forgettable and almost now like it's now not the worst car in the segment, but it's not far off. Do you know what I mean?
Okay, I want to make sure I've got this straight. So what you're telling me is that Toyota's EV, which was already many years late compared to all of its competitors, has now been redesigned, which means they've had more time than anyone else to think about all of this stuff, and it still doesn't compete. Is that what you're saying?
I don't know how to. Yeah, kind of. It's not that it doesn't compete. It's now like on the board, but still like still at the back. You know what I mean? Like,
okay, how many other pieces are on the board?
Like literally, it's still not in the top 5. I don't know if it's in the it might be 10th because there's probably only 9 other vehicles to compare it to. Wow. But let me just get the basics out of the way first, okay? You can get it with front-wheel drive and all-wheel drive. In the past, the two models had slightly different battery sizes. They differed by 1 kilowatt hour. This has changed for 2026. There are 2 batteries, but there's a very small battery for like the most entry-level model, which is only 57.7 kilowatt hours, which is even smaller than the outgoing model. But all the other ones have basically 75 kilowatt hour battery, which is pretty big. And the maximum range you can get on the BZ is 314 miles on a front-wheel drive entry-level model.
How much is the hit for going to all-wheel drive?
It is almost 50. It's almost. How do I describe?
You could just give me the number without any math. How about we try that?
So, if you get. So mean. If you get the XLE front wheel drive plus, which is the most capable in terms of range version of the BZ, you'd get 314 miles. If you get the all-wheel drive version of the XLE, it drops to 288. So about
now, what is that in Fahrenheit?
Miles? I'm not going there.
How many parsecs to the bushel?
Let's continue this conversation though. So the model I had was the limited all-wheel drive. It had an expected range of 278 miles, which is not fantastic, okay? Around 450 kilometers. I never got that much on the guesstimator.
But that's because it's been cold.
And it has been cold. And additionally, it seems super, super conservative in terms of, like, sometimes it seems like I've driven 5 kilometers before it even ticks off like 1 or 2 from
that's because you're always riding the regen.
Well, yeah, true, because I do a lot of driving in the city, and I think EVs really excel in the city. With that range discussion, yes.
I have a question for you though about you. So you're saying this is a hyper uncompetitive product. Is this the same platform as the Trail Seeker from Subaru?
No.
Does Subaru have an equivalent version of this? Because they did for the BZ4X.
Yes, it's called the BZ Woodland.
Really? It's called the BZ Woodland.
It's considered. From what I can tell, they've considered it as a different vehicle altogether.
Okay, I have no further questions then, because I was only really curious about
it. Looks very different, actually.
When you look at the Trail Seeker, Woodland, their new EV.
The Subaru's EV, yes. So Subaru actually has Trail Seeker, Uncharted, and Solterra, all 3 EVs.
Solterra.
And BZ and Toyota will have BZ and BZ Woodland.
No, so so Subaru isn't making a BZ Woodland. That's what I was specifically asking you.
No, I think the Trail Seeker is the BZ Woodland,
and they're different vehicles
from the BZ and the
BZ Uncharted. Woodland and the BZ are different enough to be considered different vehicles. It's not just trim levels.
Yeah, you've got to see this thing.
So is it like they're making a family of vehicles, like when they did Prius C and Prius X and Prius V and Prius Y?
Ben,
and
when
Prius
it comes
G?
to EVs, Toyota's a wild card, man. I don't know what they're doing.
That's real weird. I don't know I don't know how to feel about that. But let's
I'm
table
gonna send you pictures. I'm gonna send you pictures while you're processing this, because it's crazy. This is the Woodland.
Okay.
This is the BZ.
I guess it has a longer. It's roof.
Bigger. Like, it's totally bigger. One looks like an Outback.
It doesn't really look like an Outback. I mean, it looks like an Outback if all you can afford is polygons to render your Outback. All right.
Anyways,
let's forget about this.
Coming back to the BZ that I drove.
Although I will say this, in these press releases for the BZ, it says for model year 2026, the Toyota BZ bracket, formerly BZ4X. And then you go to the BZ Woodland. It does not say bracket. It goes the Toyota BZ Woodland, no brackets, is the all electric Toyota. So all right.
I do think they're trying to differentiate them. I think that's an awful way to differentiate them by giving them a similar
it makes no sense. But shout out to the Toyota media site, which I used extensively today and is actually pretty good. So
yeah, the US media site is very nice. Okay, sorry. The other thing I need to mention, the outgoing BZ4X had 200 horsepower if you got the front wheel drive model and 215 if you had the all wheel drive model. Those two outputs, entirely uncompetitive. A really significant issue when it comes to talking about modern mainstream.
Well, those are Kona levels of power, right?
Yeah,
that's where we're at. Yeah,
that's not a Kona size vehicle.
No.
Today, you will, unless you're getting the budget version of the car, which is the XLE front wheel drive. It has 168 horsepower. I don't think it's a real car. I don't think that version is a real car.
You really needed to lead with that when you were talking about it having 300 some odd miles of range.
Yeah. Oh, no, sorry. That one does not have 300 miles of range.
This is really confusing.
It's very confusing.
Now,
there's a version of the BZ called the XLE front wheel drive, which feels like it shouldn't be on sale. I don't know how else to tell you this.
No,
But you say it has a limited amount of. It has a smaller battery and it has a smaller motor.
But you're talking about 168 horsepower now feeling real. I'm pretty sure those are the numbers for the Ioniq 5 single motor short range.
Which again is a very hard to find. Is not like a.
It was not sold in Canada for a while, from what I remember, but it was available in the United States. And I don't think there's an Ioniq 6 equivalent. So it was like a very specific. I don't know exactly why. Like maybe there was some.
It feels like there's a model that you have to have, which squeezes in beneath like a price range or something,
or it qualifies for some type of incentive somewhere.
Maybe, but all the other versions of the BZ come with at least 221 horsepower. The front wheel drive models all come with 221 horsepower. The all wheel drive models come with 338 horsepower. That is a massive increase. Yeah, that is like.
I also want to say that if you're benchmarking the competition, maybe don't benchmark their lowest production model, right?
I mean, it's brutal. I mean, I feel like we shouldn't consider this entry-level model in so many ways. It's just like this low range, low battery, low power.
It's like if you could buy a 2-cylinder Mitsubishi Mirage.
Exactly. Yeah. Toyota estimates that the front wheel drive version of the car will do 0 to 60 in 8 seconds, which is a a figure that they probably shouldn't advertise. But the all-wheel drive one does it in 4.9, and driving this car, it actually feels pretty quick and really responsive, at least when acceleration is involved.
But you still don't like it.
Acceleration is only one part of the equation here, and the major issue, of course, is that every EV on the market has tons of acceleration, and yes. they just poof, like right off the line they go. It's brilliant. Another thing to point out is that all of the BZs come with the NACS style charging point, the Tesla charger, and the BZ also has support for Tesla superchargers, as well as the plug-in charge payment process, like payment system. So you don't even have to use an app or anything for certain chargers. You just plug it in and it charges whatever is built into whatever you signed into the car with or something.
Now, I don't.
It has a max charging. It has a max charger of max charging rate of 150 kilowatts. Again, much more competitive than the outgoing model, which I think was capped at like 100, and could only fast charge twice in a day or something like that.
Do you really find? Yeah, the cap on the number of fast chargers is absurd. But do you really find having payment attached to being able to just plug in and charge really all that convenient? Like, we are so accustomed to paying for gas at the pump. Why is it impossible for us to do that at the charger? Like, I don't see why that's an issue.
Yeah, I agree with you. I don't know what is the hurdle, unless it's all about data, in which you have to get out, use a specific app, verify the app to your car, tap this charger, and then plug it in.
But a lot of the time you can just tap a credit card at the charger as well.
Not all of them, but yeah. Again, this week I had two that I had to use an app to do.
Are you sure you had to use an app, or was the app just available and perhaps had a discount associated with it?
No, I had to use an app. I used a pair of ChargePoint public chargers. And it's important to point out as well that because I was using in Canada, there's a lot of, what are they called? The old level 2 or the regular level 2 charging port?
What are they called? The charging stand?
The non-NACS plug.
I can't remember off the top of my head.
Anyways, I had to use this, and I had to use an adapter.
Combined charging standard.
The combined is for fast charging. I didn't fast charge this yet.
No, but it's the same thing. It's the same standard.
Yeah. So Toyota includes two adapters, as you've discussed in the past, I think with the Kia EV6.
Super annoying.
Is that the car that you had?
Every car.
Were you? And they politely put it in an adorable little case.
Was it a velvet case?
Put it in the glove box. Huh?
Was it a velvet case? Was it like, did it feel upscale?
No. It feels upscale, and they also
like a
put
wooden
armrest.
a cedar box.
No, it wasn't a cedar. I think that's for the Woodland version.
Okay.
They'll probably give it some wood trimming. It had Velcro on the bottom of it so that it could stick in the armrest without like shifting around. But then when you take this box out of the armrest, the thing that it's Velcro to comes with it. The carpet of the armrest comes out with it.
Nice.
So kind of useless. Way to go, Toyota. I got to talk about the interior packaging a little bit. Really spacious car, lots of space. I moved some assembled IKEA furniture with it.
Wait,
I
what?
had no
Assembled?
issues with that. Yeah, I went on Facebook Marketplace and met some strangers and bought.
Did you not feel safe spending time in their apartment to disassemble it? Is that
No, yeah. Like sometimes this was a weird experience. You drive up to somebody who is expecting you, but they seem to be in the process of moving out of their home or something.
Yeah.
So they've got like a moving truck, and I'm like, hey, I'm here for the thing. And they're like, oh yeah, here. And everything is out. Like everything in their house is out. And you just take this thing and give them some money for it, and you're not quite sure what's going on. But you got a cheap deal on furniture.
Are you sure it's their house?
No, absolutely not.
Okay.
And then you rate it on Facebook afterwards. 5 stars. Brilliant. Great time.
The rating thing never works for me. The page never loads.
What do you mean?
Just never loads.
The page never. Yeah, that means your rating's way too low.
Wow.
I want to tell you that this car has not made any significant strides in terms of interior packaging of any kind compared to the outgoing model. My limited all-wheel drive model has, for whatever reason, 2 wireless phone chargers. I guess one for you and one for your passenger.
Are they side by side?
No one really wants to hang out. Yeah, they're side by side.
That's really weird.
Do you think
I was joking.
Do you think if I put my phone across both of them, I'll get like twice the wireless charging speeds?
I think you'll see some. I think you'll travel through time. I think that's what happens. Enough gigawatts to. Isn't that what it is?
That's the special feature here.
Yeah. It's clearly for phone charge racing, where you put two phones side by side and see who can hit 80% first.
And which will drain the car's battery the fastest.
Or burn a hole through the console because of the heat that's generated.
Speaking of the heat,
Sammy,
one last question. No, I got to talk to you about this.
One last question about the wireless charging.
Yes.
Is it more disturbing to have two wireless chargers beside each other on a console or two toilets beside each other in an open room?
In an open room that is not the bathroom?
I mean, any room is a bathroom if it's a bad situation. All I'm saying is this is like website called like Toilets with Threatening Auras, where people post photos of like toilets they've encountered that are in unusual places.
I learn something new from you every day. What the heck are you talking about?
Why don't you just answer my question?
Yeah, I think an obscure number of toilets in an open room will catch me off guard more than multiple wireless phone chargers.
Okay.
I mean, I only have one phone. I should have just bought another phone and checked out how it charges two phones at the same time.
Because your spouse doesn't have a
This
phone.
Seems like a gamble. It seems like a bluff by Toyota. Like maybe
why don't you just put the wireless charger in the seat, and then it can be a seat warmer / wireless charger, and you can keep your phone in your pocket.
I have to talk to you about warming things in this car because for whatever reason, there's no glove box in this car. Instead, the area beneath the dash is this warm panel.
Warm?
Yeah, when you turn on the heated seats, it not only warms the seat, it warms the area underneath the dash of both the driver's seat. It's actually more of like the steering wheel column on the driver's seat.
So it's like a thigh warmer, like a knee warmer.
But like, I don't understand how close you have to get your leg to this panel for it to feel warm. My wife joked. I'm like, hey, have you noticed there's no glove box? And she's like, yeah, that's weird. And she put her hand there and she's like, wow, that's uncomfortably warm.
Are you sure that's a feature?
Supposed to be like that?
Yeah, that's the thing.
It is. So when you turn off the heated seats, that area cools down. So you're in this like weird, your body is in this weird panini press of heated elements, but only one of them is touching your body, which is the seat.
You know, I'm not sure if
you're supposed to move your seat all the way so you're squished up to the dash so that you can feel that really nice warm sandwich press of heat.
What's next is
why didn't they just heat the armrest?
Why don't they just heat the headliner? That's clearly what they want to do.
Terrifying. Right? I found this to be, and the part that's heated on the driver is completely bizarre. Again, like you said, between your legs. I guess the point is supposed to radiate heat towards you, but I don't think that's really how heated
you
panels
already have vents there.
Work.
There's already. Remember there was BMW had like a crotch vent?
Yeah.
Do you remember that? And you could like dial it up and down and it would blow either cold or warm air. I mean, that feels like
BMW? I thought it was Toyota.
I'm sure it's more than
in
one
like
car
a
company.
Land Cruiser or something.
What I'm saying is this is a problem that already has a solution that doesn't involve having to touch the dash. Like,
yeah, I didn't dig it.
Why don't they heat the infotainment screen?
Yeah.
Okay.
Anyways,
wait. No. Yeah. Question for you: Top 5 surfaces in a car you would want to see heated. Go.
Yeah, armrest. I mean, besides the usual.
Yeah. Besides the usual.
Yeah, armrest. Armrest is a great one to warm up. I wouldn't mind something that could. Do you think something like the floorboards, heated floorboards, so that if you have snowy boots? Or
that's 2. That's 2.
Boots?
Keep going.
Yeah.
3 more.
That's it, man.
No, that's
armrest,
it.
So that you can keep your suit
armrest and the floor.
Glove box.
Okay, 3.
Glove box.
You want a heated glove box warm. For I guess muffins and stuff.
Yeah, sometimes I buy one of those prepared rotisserie chickens, and I'm really terrified.
That's a big glove box. That's a big glove box. Have you been in
an F-150 lately? You can put a whole, that's like a microwave in there. They should replace it.
Why not just add a rotisserie to the glove box? That would be a solution.
Yeah, I would love that. That would be so good.
Okay, so that's 3.
And is this strictly interior?
No. Any surface you can touch.
Any tailgating area, like if you wanted to sit like on a tailgate and have it and look at the stars or whatever. I need heated bed.
So you would rather have that instead of the protractor and ruler that Ford has on the F-150's tailgate? Can you imagine you show up to your SAT exams with a Ford tailgate to do your math problems with? And they're like, I spent $100,000 on this pickup. I'm going to use every single piece of it whenever I can.
You mean like that? I mean, on the tail? No, I don't know if it's on the tail. I know that they also have a bunch of measurements on the underside of the armrest.
Yeah, I'm not talking about those. I'm talking about the tailgate one. So that's 4. You have one more to go.
I got nothing, man. I'm running out of places. What do you say?
What about a heated trailer hitch? How about that?
No.
What? Why
that
not?
Sounds dangerous.
It's not dangerous. Your hands get cold. You're hitching up the trailer. It's a perfect solution.
It sounds like a cattle prod almost. It could be dangerous or branding.
No, I'm not talking about the ball hitch. I'm talking about the receiver. I'm not saying you heat up the ball hitch and then back it into a bumper and slowly sizzle your way through the fiberglass.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. That's what I'm imagining.
All right, so let's move past what we were just talking about. What else do you have to say about this vehicle?
This car is it's still, the range is really not superb. The interior design is really not impressive. The exterior design, they've gotten rid of the black fender flares, which has improved the design significantly. And while the starting price is a claimed $35,000, that's for this model that no one wants. So the one I drove though starts at $43,000.
That's US?
That's US, and as configured with all-wheel drive is closer to 50 grand.
Now, you say that it's gotten rid of the black fenders. Sammy, I found them. Do you know where they are? They're on the Woodland. They're on the Woodland.
Yes. Yes, they are.
So it was a lateral move.
Yeah. I want to say, it's driving this car was super, it felt like I was not driving a car. It has, the steering feels vaguely connected to the front wheels. The throttle is really solid. The braking is really good. The ride quality is fine, but none of it felt stand out or impressive, but also none of it felt super comfortable and reassuring the way that, really smooth, quiet, cushy car. It was just blah, really meh of a car. So just around $50,000 in the US. Let me get the Canadian pricing, if I can. Yes. Totally. Which is, you know what? It's an impressive glow up from the outgoing model,
but it's just not enough.
Super uncompetitive. Yeah, which was super uncompetitive. But no, it hasn't done anything to. You have to do more than just compete. In Canada, this car costs closer to 60 grand.
So it reminds me of when the Nissan Frontier got a new generation, and the old Frontier had been on the market for, 10 years or something, unchanged. And it was obviously not a competitive vehicle. People bought it because it was a bit of a throwback to a simpler time of mid-sized trucking.
But it was more affordable than the competition, if I remember correctly.
And then when they came out with the new one, it wasn't really... Yeah. It was better, as you described. It was better than the old one, technologically and whatnot in terms of features, but it hadn't caught up to the rest of the pack. It was still the 4th place or 5th place option.
I mean, when you compare this to, and it's really strange to talk about it like this, because I think about some of Toyota's newest cars that are confusing but very good, like the Crown and the Crown Signia. Those cars are not. They're not duds. They're actually quite good. They're a little bit on the expensive side, but they fill this air between Toyota's mainstream offering and their luxury offerings. So you kind of see that positioning as being different than other cars that you can get that Toyota typically competes with. But when you see this BZ, I'm looking at it and I'm saying, what does this do that the Ioniq 5 doesn't do, the Kia EV6 doesn't do, the Mustang Mach-E doesn't do, and yeah, the Aria, you know what I mean? Like those are, and we haven't even discussed about the ID4, which is also relatively popular.
Do you think that this is just another case of Toyota grudgingly being in the EV segment?
I wish I could say that because it's made such a significant leap from the last one, which did feel like Toyota was like, well, I guess we got to make an EV. Now they're like, I guess we got to make a competitive EV. Now the next step is like, I have to make a good EV. Do you know what I mean? Like they're really like dragging their feet on.
Maybe they'll get there.
It's to say that they can do that. They can.
Well, you haven't driven the Woodland. Maybe the Woodland is good.
Yeah, I mean, with a bigger vehicle. I don't know. Can I also say it's super strange to see a car have the Subaru X mode button on it? It just has the X mode button on the dash. Just you can put in X mode if you need to.
Why didn't they just put
and that is not if
they should have called it like TRD mode or Gazoo mode?
They? Yeah. No, like in all of their trucks, they have this multi-terrain selector. MTS, I think, is the acronym they use.
Everyone knows
just
MTS,
right?
Yeah,
or just call it multi-terrain or whatever you need to call it.
All my friends always talking about MTS.
I hate MTS. I hate MTS because I think they pad out how many modes there are. There's dirt, sand, and mud, which I feel all sound like the same thing.
I think if you have a Land Rover, that is one mode: dirt, sand, mud.
Yeah,
or dirt,
exactly.
No, I'm thinking grass, gravel, mud. That's an actual mode for Land Rover.
Grass, gravel, mud. I don't even think about grass as being a terrain mode.
Yeah. Now you got something new to think about.
How tall do you think the grass needs to be in order for it to need a mode?
In my experience, it's not the height of the grass; it's the wetness of the grass.
Here we go with your wetness.
So
again.
If you leave a racetrack and you end up on grass, you no longer have control of your vehicle's velocity. It is out of your hands entirely because the amount of friction between rubber tires and grass above a certain speed is essentially zero. Mm-hmm. So that's always it's always you're along for the ride at that point.
So, and that's what Toyota feels like they're doing. They're along for the ride. I really struggle because I find, what is the worst offering in this class? I think, unfortunately, it's either the Volkswagen ID4 and the Nissan Aria, besides the BC. Sorry, and when
I don't think the Aria is that bad.
No, I don't think the Aria is that bad. It's actually incredibly attractive. It has, in my opinion, really unfortunate driving dynamics. It has a lot of strange vertical motion when I'm driving it. It like bounces. I don't know. Maybe it's made for more people in the car than I drive with.
Wow.
But I don't find the BZ to feel any more than those two cars. So it feels like it's in this like second tier of EVs, which I guess is better than being in the third tier, which it was in before of itself being like,
or the mysterious fourth tier.
Yeah, I mean, it was it and the Solterra all by itself somewhere else. Perfectly acceptable car. You get this because you are terrified of going to another dealership, but you need an EV. And this is what they got, man.
We're going to be talking about a fourth tier car a little later on in the podcast. So
okay.
We're going to circle back.
But let's just jump on to the car that you've been driving, which is a good one, actually, a really good one to talk about. I like talking about this car.
Well, I'm not going to say too much about it, even though you want to talk about it, because you're excited about it, and I gotta shut that down before it gets out of control. But I drove the 2026 BMW M340 Jahre edition. Jahre it's intended to. Sorry, the M340i X-Drive 50 Jahre edition. It's intended to celebrate the 50th anniversary of the 3 Series, which, if you are an old person like me, and you're starting to think that 1975 was 50 years ago, that's what it was. That's essentially the when they released. I don't know how they're doing a 2026 50 years ago from 2026 is technically 51 years, but I guess the vehicle broke cover at the Olympic Stadium in Munich. So that was when it was introduced. And then I don't know if it went on sale the year after. It doesn't matter. What does matter is that this is a single spec car. So you can get 6 different colors, but everything else is pretty much the same. So it's fairly well loaded. You get a nice merino leather interior. You get M Sport brakes and special wheels and all that kind of stuff. Mine was in a really beautiful ruby red metallic color, gorgeous dark red. In any case, what I do want to say about this car, I'm not saying you have to buy the RA edition. And in fact, you probably can't, because there were only 100 for sale in Canada. In the United States, I believe there were more. It started at 75,000 in the US. I don't have Canadian pricing. I realize that I can't.
Can you repeat that again? How much for a vehicle? This is not an M vehicle?
It's an M340, so it's 75,000.
That's a lot of money. Oh dear. I wish you hadn't told me that right off the bat.
What do you think a regular M340 costs?
Less than that. I think it should cost at most 50.
No, I'm not asking what you think it should cost. I'm asking what do you think it costs?
Because, I'm guessing 70 grand.
So an M340 xDrive, which would be what this is, because it's also all-wheel drive, starts at 64. So
yeah, I take that.
Again, remember with BMW, if you're going to be adding any kind of options, your prices are going to go up pretty quickly, right?
And if you're getting an addition of any kind.
Yeah.
Limited or otherwise.
This has like things like Shadowline trim, and it had all the driver's assistant stuff. So I would think that a lot of the options that are offered on the regular M340 are bundled into this, kind of making it like a supercar in the sense that it's like a one-stop shop to get the best of what's available. I'm not trying to defend the price, but I do think it probably lines up with the feature set. But I don't want to talk too much about the Jahre specifically. What this car did for me was remind me just how good the M340 is in nearly every situation. Like, it is a very comfortable road trip car. I think it looks pretty good in certain shades. The interior is comfortable. I mean, this is essentially a compact luxury car, whatever that means these days, but you could put 4 adults in it and they're not going to complain. It has enough technology to be useful, but not so much that you're going to be irritated by it. And the parts that are irritating, you can pretty much shut them all off, which is nice. I had it over the Christmas holidays, and in my part of the world, there are a ton of tourists. I've talked about it before, especially in the winter because of the ski hill that's nearby. So I often get stuck behind people who are doing conservatively 30% of the speed limit. And it's twisty mountainous roads, which means I don't always have a passing zone. So in this car, I could just pass at will anytime I wanted without having to worry that I had enough power, without having to worry whether I was going to have enough traction because of the all-wheel drive. Although I'll get to that in a second, because there's one mitigating factor on this car that does affect traction. But overall, as a package, this is just a super recommendable car. I really, really like it.
Yeah.
It's been 2 or 3 years since I've driven one, and it was a great refresher to kind of reconnect me with all the things I like about this vehicle. Would I like it if it had a manual transmission? Sure, but it doesn't need one to fulfill its purpose. I mean, it was really a great car to do a ton of miles in over the holidays. I think that it's probably still the class leader. I mean, what else are you up against? The C class, which is fine. The A4, which I think has the A4 and the A5, because they're kind of really fungible these days. I find that those models have faded in terms of their driving dynamics. They're just not as interesting as they used to be. The
Lexus is the other one. Oh yeah, the Genesis is
Genesis G70 is a really good car, and I think it is comparable to the BMW with a discount. Especially the interior is quite nice. But you were going to bring up the Lexus. You're talking about the IS?
Yeah.
That's a car I never think about. I don't think
it's difficult because I think it had a generation that went really, really, really bland. And then I think the latest one has really good driving dynamics, but the powertrains, in my opinion, are a bit lacking, with the exception of the V8.
Well, the V8
is that's comparable to an M3, I think.
But, well, I mean, if it had any supporting chassis modifications, maybe it would be. But it's just basically an engine in the regular, from what I understand, I have not driven it, inside the regular IS platform. In any case, I think that this is still the class pick of the class. And it's nice to see a vehicle not mess itself up. Like there's so many pitfalls. There were times where the 3 Series maybe wasn't as good as it once was, but right now it's a pretty strong option, Sammy.
That's a bold thing to say. I can't remember a really flat 3 Series generation. I think they all had an opportunity to be quite decent, and I think they pulled it off, no?
I think there are a few versions of the 3 Series in the last 15 years that were maybe a bit too big and heavy for what they were trying to be. Okay. And I don't think they quite pulled it off. But the biggest problem I have with the car is the winter tires that were outfitted to it.
Oh, yeah, here we go. Yeah, hit me with
Pirelli this. Sato Zero tires. Absolute garbage. The worst tires you can put on your car in the winter. Very little traction on slippery surfaces. So I'm okay driving the car. Like I was talking about passing and feeling confident. I know how to handle a car in slick conditions, but if you weren't as comfortable, you would be a little bit perturbed by how these tires handle. The worst thing that happened to me with them was I was traveling about 55 miles per hour on hard packed snow. And I was taking a left-hand corner at that speed, and the car just pushed all the way to the outside of the corner. And I momentarily thought that I might not have enough time to recover because it was so unexpected, because it was a very slight steering adjustment that I made. And that happened to me twice on the same journey. Very cold day, very hard packed snow. That should never happen on a winter tire. And in fact, it doesn't happen unless you're using Pirelli Sato Zeros. I hate these tires. I think they're horrible. Sammy, you feel the same way.
Yeah, I absolutely agree with you. I've driven so many of these, and BMW, especially on their winter fleet, put these tires on because I think they fit the profile better than, or like they're easier to get than other winter tires. But they absolutely do not grip to anything, and it's really unfortunate. I've driven I think my first experience maybe like 10, 15 years ago with these were on like a 5 Series diesel, which had tons of torque, right? And it just wasn't going anywhere with these tires on. It was just like completely gripless and a real waste of the powertrain.
When I picked up the car and brought it home, I got out of the vehicle to check because I thought I was maybe still on all season tires because it was plated in Ontario, and in Quebec we have a law where between certain dates you have to have winters, but they don't have such a law in Ontario. So sometimes cars come through and they still have all seasons on it. And I looked at the sidewall and I'm like, oh no, it's Sato Zeros. That totally explains the really crappy traction that I was experiencing. So that's how bad it is. Like in my mind, I was like, these are not winter tires.
Yeah, exactly. There's another. Mine has Pirelli Scorpions on this Toyota, and they weren't terrible. But again, they are not this Pirelli has proven to me that it's not my go-to winter tire.
No, I think Sato Zeros are designed to be like high performance tires, and I think they assume that you're on dry pavement and it's just cold. And then occasionally you're going to be dealing with snow. And I think that is a very weird spec to like prioritize in the winter. Maybe that works for some people, but it doesn't work for where I live.
Absolutely. I agree with you.
That's
anything else you want to talk about with this Jahre?
That's all about the Jahre. Go snag one if you want to grab one of the few that are out there and get a very nicely loaded car with a few badges that you won't see on other M340s, like on the trunk lid and on the sills. You'll get some nice Jahre wear. But there's one last thing I want to talk about this week, Sammy, and that is some news that dropped today. We saw it on the Drive, posted by the Drive, and that is BMW. Chrysler and Jeep are no longer going to be making plug-in hybrids.
Now, that's really important because the Wrangler 4xe and the Grand Cherokee 4xe, and if I remember correctly, there's also supposed to be a 4xe version of the Grand Wagoneer coming out soon, or was supposed to.
Could be.
And then as well as the Pacifica plug-in hybrid, which has been around for a long time, but I think
is really good.
Really good. Before the 4xes. Are all going to be saying goodbye now.
They are officially not going to be saying goodbye. They are discontinued. 2025 was the last model year. And apparently this is tied into the fact that there's a stop sale on all of these vehicles right now. That's our assumption. I believe there's a stop sale on them, Sammy.
I'm going to double check on this.
Am I incorrect on that?
I don't know where the stop sale. Yes.
So
Confirmed that an active stop sale remained in place on all 4xe models due to ongoing recall campaigns, but stopped short of addressing their absence from the website.
So the reason the Drive is claiming these cars are gone is because you can't build them anymore. Mm-hmm. And once they noticed that, they said that they were going to phase them out. They told the Drive they were phasing them out in an email for the 2026 model year. So yeah, earlier we were talking about fourth tier vehicles. As in, yeah. When Sami and I first saw this news, we were trying to figure out, like, you know, which vehicles would be affected. And we're like, oh, so that's the Grand Cherokee, it's the Wrangler, it's the Pacifica. And then I was like, oh, that's pretty much all of them, right? Like, they don't have any other ones. And Sami's like, you're forgetting the Hornet. And he's like, yeah, you're right. The Dodge Hornet is a vehicle that is not mentioned here. And it's a vehicle that no one thinks about. No one ever talks about the Hornet. It is something. It's a car that I drove once, realized wasn't competitive, very much in the same way as the BZ that we talked about today, and just haven't thought about again. And it's easy not to think about it because no one buys them, and I never see them anywhere.
Yeah, you barely. If you see them, you know somebody's getting like a fleet rental, like deal. a loaner or a rental. Like, it's crazy that even rental fleets, you don't see these hanging around.
It made me think of another. So that's at least a tier 3 car, a car that, like, it technically exists, but you don't know anyone who's ever been inside of one. And then I realized Dodge is kind of the king of this type of vehicle over the past decade, because there was a compact sedan that Dodge made that I challenge you to go through your mental Rolodex and see if you know anyone who owned one. And that's the Dodge Dart, which I think is the ultimate tier 4 car that, I mean, I drove one time, but I've never been in one. I've been in one in my entire life. No one I know bought one. I never see them anywhere. I see more Dodge Neons than I do Dodge Darts, which is
so funny. Totally or Calibers, wild. At least. Or Calibers. You see a ton of Calibers still.
Yeah.
I agree with you entirely. The Dart, I knew somebody who owned one, didn't own it when I met them, but they owned it for a period. I think because they worked at an FCA dealer at the time, and they got a crazy deal on it. But yeah, a car that always came like near last in every competition I ever did with it.
Can you think of any other cars that don't technically exist from the last 10 years?
That don't technically
And I'm not talking about like Murano Cross Cabriolet. I'm talking about like cars that they actually thought they would sell.
Well, I mean, I think the Murano is one of them. And there's a new generation of the Murano.
I see Muranos all over the place.
The new one?
Well, not the one that went on sale like a few months ago. No.
Yeah, it's bizarre to me that I haven't seen any of these on the market.
But I mean, just in general.
And I think the Nissan, you mentioned the Nissan Frontier, but I think the Titan was
Titan is a really good
invisible car.
I think that I've seen more Titan XDs than I've seen regular Titans too.
I've seen more Titans than I've seen Darts for sure.
Yeah, that's true.
And especially Hornets.
Yeah, I can't recall. I can't recall seeing a Hornet Charger E.
Yeah, I have not seen a single one of these Dodge Daytonas.
I've seen 3 or 4.
Charger Daytona. For sure. No way. Really?
You forget that in Quebec, EVs are 30% of the new car mix.
Oh, yeah, that's true.
So
I haven't seen any of them. It kills me that I haven't seen any of them.
I don't see Mirages.
I'm going to give you a car that I don't think they expected to sell, but they didn't. Honda Clarity. We talked about this a while ago.
No, I don't think...
They made an EV version of the... an EV and a plug-in hybrid version of the Clarity.
That's a compliance car. I don't think that counts. I think we got to kind of... That's like saying you didn't see a first-generation Fiat 500 electric. Like, those were cars that, they exist on a spreadsheet somewhere.
Same with the Hyundai Ioniq, the first one.
Yeah, I remember driving that. And I see them for sale all the time on Marketplace. But in the real world, it's very rare to encounter them.
CRZ?
Honda no, CRZ? I see CRZs. I come across the CRZ.
So interesting. Mirage sedan. Does that count?
I said Mirage. Any Mirage. I never see them.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
I think the Micro was just much more popular in Quebec than the Mirage.
Yeah, totally. Everywhere. Not just... everyone in Canada.
I guess assorted Mitsubishis, though, like a lot of their small SUVs, maybe I don't notice them. That might be another
like the
thing.
RVR and the Eclipse Cross.
Yeah, like they're kind of background vehicles in a lot of ways.
They're called the Outlander Sport in in the US. So we really showed our Canadianness with that.
I think the problem with smaller SUVs disappearing is because the styling is very similar from one brand to another in that segment. And so it can be easy to just not differentiate them when you're in a parking lot.
I think first gen Trax is kind of you don't see those.
Those were not sold. Oh, you mean the first gen that we got, not the Trax that was sold for the Mexican rental market. Remember that?
What? Talk to me about this. What the heck
so
are you
I'm pretty sure, I don't know if it was called the Trax, but there was a vehicle that was built just for the rental market and sold in Mexico in the retail market. I can't remember what it was called now, and it was a Chevrolet. And a few of them started appearing on like when fleet companies would sell at auction. So you started to see a few of them around. I can't remember what it was called though. First generation Trax. That's a good one. I can't recall seeing those either. And I liked that vehicle to a point. Like it wasn't terrible, you know. The current one is infinitely better. But
it's significantly better.
Yeah.
I don't see the Trailblazer much either, the new one. Mainly because I think the Trax is just significantly better.
I don't think I could tell them apart.
I think there's a lot of luxury cars we can throw in this. Do you know any Buicks other than the Invista? Can you like pinpoint a Buick?
I see a lot of Enclaves for sure. Regals.
What about the Envision? Envision.
Could you tell
Encore GX?
Encore GX, I do see. See. What about the Verano? That's a good one.
Ooh,
AKA the Buick Cruise.
Yeah, the Buick Cruise, brutal.
Oh, and in following with that, here's the ultimate from the luxury segment: the Lexus HS 250. Was it the HS?
Oh yeah,
that was the sedan version of the Prius. I think
the Prius
in Lexus form. I see CT 200Hs, but I never see the HS.
Yeah, that was that's a great point.
That was a pitiful car. I liked the CT a lot. The HS was just bleh, everything about it. Bleh. You know,
there's got to be one more on this list that I think is invisible. I had it on the tip of my tongue now, and I can't remember it.
Tip of the tongue.
Does the K900 count?
I don't think so. I think
that's meant to be a low volume.
If it's like a halo vehicle. Like how many NSXs have you seen? You know, like it's the same kind of thing.
Okay, but then there was a Hyundai version of that.
Yeah, the Equus.
Called the Azure, maybe?
No, the Equus. Azure wasn't sold in Canada. Before. That was a front-wheel drive platform.
Well, is that what I'm thinking of? No.
I'm not sure if it was called the Azure, but I know the vehicle you're talking about.
Oh no! How can I not know this?
I've got one last one, so we can wrap it up with that's actually a current vehive that isn't even on the market yet, but it doesn't exist.
Azera is the
Azera,
name of it.
Yeah, Azera. That's right. That I don't think that was sold in Canada. I have a vehicle that is does not exist right now because it's not on sale yet. But once it does go on sale, it won't exist either, and that's that's the Sony Afeela.
Oh yeah, the Sony DOA. You think
virtually
you think
guaranteed
convert their legions of PlayStation and Bravia owners into a car?
No, I think the Bravia owners are shopping elsewhere. I don't think Afeela is really gonna. I don't think that car. I think 3 examples. I think that's what we're looking at here. I think if you invested in an Afeela dealership, you might want to try to get your money back.
How many EcoSports do you see?
I don't know. I blanked them out. Maybe the worst car I've driven in the last 10 years.
I think there's been some bad ones.
Really? What's worse than give me 2 that are worse than the EcoSport.
Than the EcoSport?
Yeah.
I'm struggling the last
part
already.
For everyone listening. The last part of this podcast is just me challenging Sami to make lists. Off the top of his head.
I think Hornet is there.
Hornet is way better in every way.
That's crazy.
EcoSport was designed for a market with standards that are quite different from ours and built in an era that is not modern.
There's a bunch of cars that are like that, though. Like, I mean, that's what makes the Kicks such an important. Like, it was also a car that was adapted to a different market than it was originally designed for, and it just killed it. It was so good. But that and the Outlander Sport And there was also some more like subcompacts that are so bad. I'm going to throw the HRV under the bus.
HRV is bad, but it's better than the EcoSport, because the EcoSport was like a 3-cylinder naturally aspirated. Wasn't it something like that?
Yeah. Not naturally aspirated. Can I also tell you, speaking of invisible cars, a car that I used to see when we were testing it all the time, but has disappeared since there, is the Chevy Sonic. Where have all the Chevy Sonics gone?
I see them in Montreal from time to time. I like that car. I think it was
it's a great car.
Huge missed opportunity for Chevrolet to make a compact performance car. If they had put a more powerful turbo engine, that would have been a lot of fun.
And then they disappeared. All of them. All of them are gone. I don't know what happened to them.
Where did they
can't find them anywhere. I don't know. It weirds me out because I remember everyone having one.
The island of misfit cars, I guess. I don't know.
That's a perfect name for this feature, the Island of Misfit. Where are all these cars that we don't know where they went?
It's better than Let's Remember Some Cars as the title. All right, well, if you want to remember some stuff...
Kia Cadenza! Okay, go ahead.
If you want to... Cadenza, yeah. Was the other one the Azera? Cadenza?
Yeah.
If you want to remember some stuff and tell us about it, you can reach out and do that in a number of ways. The easiest way is to just go to unnamedautomotivepodcast.com, fill out the form we have on the site and click submit, and it shows up in our inboxes. Or you can email us the old-fashioned way. It's Benjamin at Benjamin Hunting. And I want to say a shout out to Peter, who reached out to us this past week and had some very complimentary things to say about the podcast. And it's very heartening. We've had a lot of people reaching out to us over the holidays, and it honestly, like, it feels good to know that you are enjoying the show as much as we enjoy doing it. And it helps.
Yeah. I don't think we would be doing it if we didn't enjoy it, but what really helps is getting to hear that other people are enjoying it as much as we do. Like, it blows my mind that people get the love here that me and Ben have for each other in doing this, I think.
And also shout out to Vyacheslav for reaching out over Instagram with some kind words of his own and some suggestions for the show, which I appreciated. That's always great to hear what you guys would want to hear us talking about and how you want to hear us talking about it.
Yeah, we're going to take that into consideration. Now, Ben, is there something going on next week?
Next week, I am going to a faraway land, and as a result, we will not be recording. But when we come back, I am going to be talking about, I honestly don't know, probably what I did in that foreign land, even though it's not really related to the North American market. I'm sure some interesting stuff will come out of it. And I guess that's my teaser for the episode after next week.
And I just got a Toyota Sienna that I can't wait to talk to people about. But
that matches our Odyssey talk, so it's that's, you know, not I was writing up my Odyssey review recently, actually this week, and
how many times and the Sienna comes up all the time, and you're like,
the Sienna comes up, and I'm like, it still has 40 cubic feet less cargo space than any other minivan on the market, and that blows my mind. That blows my mind.
It's like we're still here.
It's like, what if minivan but small? You know, like, I don't.
What about mini? They didn't get the memo that the mini and minivan did not really mean
just
small.
A name.
Yeah, exactly. Anyways, thanks everyone for listening. We'll talk to you when Ben gets back in a week and a half, 2 weeks.
Bye.
Bye.